Do you know anyone that needs money for anything? Usually when I ask that question, you know what people say? Yeah, me. And that's what this is all about. And that's why you tuned in today, because there's something that you need money for. I have people right now who are looking to raise $1,000 so they can step up to what's called a diamond position and increase their income and their effectiveness in getting leads. Let's talk about how that works. I teach and have been teaching the 4 pillars of financial freedom for years. People want to get out of debt. They want to make money. They don't know how. They want to plan for their retirement. And I do all of those things. But that's not what this lesson is about today. Today we want to talk about one thing, the power of duplication, and what can happen is if you work together as a team. You need to understand the difference between crowdfunding and co-op funding. A lot of people still haven't heard of crowdfunding, and I know they haven't heard of co-op funding. Well, this fella here raised $350,000 2 years ago, and he did it in 1 month. You click on that button, it's going to take you to his GoFundMe page. And as soon as you do that, say, oh yeah, I've people heard of that. He never did a thing because he had a crowdfunding coach that said that he wanted to help him. You see, he walked to work every day and took a bus also because his car broke down. He's making $10 an hour and he couldn't afford to get another car. His coach said, can I help you? And he did. And they raised that much money. But I want you to notice something here. It took 13,000 donations. Now, he didn't know 13,000 people, so how did that happen? His coach got it on TV, and you probably heard about it on TV because that's what made him so famous. That's crowdfunding. Crowdfunding was passed into law, and we're going to get into that in the next session of how it began and what made it so popular. But right now, I want to talk about co-op funding. Co-op funding is this. My daughter called me up and she had heard about crowdfunding. She said, Dad, I'd like to raise the money to take the kids on vacation to Disney World. But she said, I feel kind of funny. I said, you mean funny about asking me to give you money to go on vacation? She says, yeah. I said, listen, Melody, it doesn't work that way. I said, you need to do co-op funding because co-op funding allows you to work together to accomplish those same goals. She said, well, what do you mean? How many of your friends would like to go on vacation? She said, well, a lot of them. I said, so ask them to join you in raising money to go on vacation. Now, if one of them says, I'd rather get out of debt, you say, great, we can help you. And I'm going to show people how to do that today and how they can help other people at the same time. And it doesn't matter whether you want to raise money for any project that you have. Let's take a look at that. First of all, when you get started, it's kind of scary. This is you down here, and there's a whole world out there you know nothing about and how this whole thing works. So what I want to do is I want to start at the beginning, and I want to explain it very simply to you in a way that's going to make sense. We're going to show you how to start down here and go all the way to the top, and I want you to notice that the arrow keeps on going. There is no end to what this can do for you in your life. We're going to talk about money. And we're going to talk about 2 kinds of money. We're going to talk about fiat currency. That's the money that we have here in our country. And we're going to talk about an international currency called Bitcoin and what they have to do with each other and what it has to do with what we're talking about. I had a lady ask me, she said, well, wait a minute, what makes this Bitcoin worth the money that they say it's worth? And I looked at her and I said, well, let me ask you a question. I have here a $100 bill and a $10 bill. How do you know how much these are worth? She said, well, because of the numbers. It says that one's worth 100 and that one's worth 10. I said, but what makes it worth that? And I said, with Bitcoin, we have an advantage over that because Bitcoin's value changes. A year ago, when I first started putting this project together, I had $300 worth of Bitcoin in my account. Today, that one Bitcoin is now worth $1,221. I had $300 in the account and it had grown to $1,200 just in the time that I was putting this all together. If you join, and our membership is 0.05 Bitcoin, and so our membership is $67 right now. So let's take a look at that and see how it works. I want to know 2 things. How much does it cost? I already answered that question there, and I actually can show you how to get started for free. You're going to make a donation. The donation you're going to make is 0.05 Bitcoin. I added the other 5 on there because of the fees. Did you notice crowdfunding can cost you anywhere from 5% to 20% to raise the money that you're trying to raise? And if you start out raising money and you don't get at least 80% raised, you don't get any of it? Ours doesn't work like that. Ours is member-to-member donations. What does that mean? You start out and you do this. I was told when I first got started to go out and to invite other people and share this with them, the people you know. Do you know anybody that needs money for anything? I said, yeah. The first person I shared this with, too, that called me back was Mitch. Mitch's project was to raise money for the veterans. He's a retired vet, and the veterans right now have a lot of money. The Wounded Warrior Project's raising funds for them, and they're trying to help them provide jobs, provide security, provide the funds they need. So you know what he did? He went out right away, and he invited 2 people, his wife and his brother. He got his money back, and he doubled it immediately. I went out and invited somebody else. I invited a pastor. I said, Pastor, you were talking about helping the people in your church, and are you still looking for a project? And he said, yeah. And I said, I'd like to help you do some co-op funding, and I'd like to help you help the people in your church get out of debt. And he said, Jim, let's do that. He said, I'd like to see the people get out of debt. That'll give them more money for their life, more money to do other things that they need to do instead of working all the time. And so that was the project. Now, when you invite 2 people, you need to step up because you're qualified. You come up to the helper position because now you want to help those 2 people that you invited do the same thing, get 2 people. Now, Mitch didn't need any help. He already had that done. And he's like me. He went out the first week and he invited 14 people. I went out the first week and I helped 10 people, 6 of them joined, and I helped them duplicate. And by the end of the month, we had 37 people in the group. This lady here needs an operation. Maybe you know somebody that has a medical need, or special kids that have needs, or dental work you need to get done, but you don't have the money for it. We can show you how to raise the money for that. This lady here, her name's Gloria, and she said, Jim, I'd like to raise money to help people who need food. She said, I have a garden, I've grown vegetables, I take them to the farmer's market, and the farmers have gotten to know me. And she said, at the end of the farmer's market, any vegetables that we have that won't keep, I've asked other farmers if they would donate it to me. That way they can take it off their taxes. And she said, I deliver it to people. I don't charge them any gas. I don't charge them any delivery fee. I don't charge them for the food. I just give it to them. And she said, I have a regular route because people keep telling me about other people that have a need. And so she said, now I find myself paying for the gas money to do all that. And she said, I'm not complaining. It's my ministry. But she said, I do need to raise some funds for that. Can we do it? I said, sure. I said, is your goal bigger than that? She said, well, yeah. She said, one thing I'd like to do is something that you guys are doing. And she said, I'd like to start a co-op where people can help work a garden together. And I said, well, we have that in our town. And people work together. They plant the garden and then they share in the fruit. And she said, well, we'd like to do that as a ministry to help people do that. But for the people who don't want to do it or can't do it, she said, we'd like to continue to expand our giving. So if we had a food co-op where people could come together and help the co-op, or just come in and buy stuff at a good discount, she said, that'd be great. I said, okay, we can help you do that. Asked Bob, he's an insurance agent. I said, Bob, can I ask you a question? Do you know anybody that needs money for anything? He said, yeah. He said, I'm working with Little League, and we said, we're trying to raise $1 million. And I said, I can help you do that if you'd like to hear about it. He said, sure, tell me about it. And I told him about it. And he said, I think you're right, because he said, these kids are going to want to go to college, and they're going to need the money for that. And so you're saying that we can help those parents get the money for their kids to go into college, and at the same time provide the money for the new field. I said, exactly. And I said, let's talk about that in a minute. My phone rang, and I had another fellow call me. His name is Ross, and he wanted to write a book. And he said, Jim, I need to raise $4,000 to write this book and print it myself. And I said, what's the book called? And he said, The Holy Wars. And I said, we can help you do that. And I said, do you have any other need? He goes, no, that's all I need. I said, well, after you get the money for that book, you have 2 choices. You can either close your program, or you can continue it and expand your need, like helping other people that have a need too. And so you're going to go from helping other people to what we call as a supporter. When you have 6 people on that team, you want to step up, because if you don't step up, you're going to miss 8 more donations. So the first thing you do is you help 2 people, share this with 2 other people. Now you got 6 people on the team, and now you want to help them and support those groups, and you're going to receive 8 more donations for a donation of 0.1 Bitcoin. We'll take a look at that here in the end. Now let's go back to the Little League. These kids are going to be going to college, and now you're an official fundraiser. They want to use this as a fundraiser, not as a way make money for themselves. So their fundraiser this year, you see, they used to have the kids go out and sell cookies, but they didn't want to do that anymore. So this is an adult fundraiser. They're going to raise $1 million, and they're going to do that by helping these kids and their parents. The kids are going to want to go to college, and so they're going to be able to raise the money to send their kids to college. As a matter of fact, last year, paying off student loans grew 4,017%. Because these guys are in school and they told each other about it and they paid off their student loans, and then other people who had student loans begin to pay those student loans off. Got a question for you. How many of these kids are going to be getting married? Do you think the parents that might need to raise some money for a wedding, or maybe they'd like to raise money to go on a fantastic honeymoon? We can help you do that. The needs are endless. Maybe you want to get out of debt and pay off your mortgage. We can show you how to do that. We can show you if you've got special kids who have special needs, how to help them, how to help other people around the country, around the world. This is an international co-op. We help people everywhere around the world, and you can become a part of that. Then you become a philanthropist. After you get going in this, it's not about making money anymore. It's about how you can help solve other people's problems. And we have a lot of problems going on here in this country and around the world. People need money. We're having a real problem because our country hasn't figured out yet how to help the average American increase their incomes, and that's what we want to do. We want to show you the way out, the way to help other people. We invite you to join us. It's that simple. And by the way, let's take a look at this, because when you follow these steps, these directions, instead of having 13,000 people donating to your project, you have 126. But let's take a look at how much money that you have raised right here, 84.3. So we'll go to our calculator. We're going to put in 84.3. That's 102,000 US dollars. Now that is monthly, because this is a monthly income. So what does that mean? That means the Little League is going to have their money raised in less than a year. The church is going to be able to pay off their mortgage, and the people in the church will be able to pay off their mortgage. You're going to be able to accomplish your dreams and your goals and helping other people get what they want. We have people who are looking for an answer, and if you need leads and people to talk to and you don't want to talk to family and friends, we're going to show you how to do that and have people who are looking for something like this, and we're going to share that with you when you join, when you become a member. The 4 pillars I created because I wanted to help people solve problems they had in their life. If I knew you were going to lose $10,000 or more, would you want me to tell you? Of course you would. I'm going to show you how you can eliminate debt. That used to be my number one, but what happened is in this economy in the last few years, people found themselves one blown tire away from not being able to even make a car payment. The number one thing we're doing today, and number one request I have, is creating wealth. Maybe you'd like to plan a legacy and leave what you have to your kids. Do you know how to do that? When was the last time you updated your will? You know what most people tell me? I don't even have one. These are things you need to have in place. We're looking for insurance agents all across the country that want to help other people solve their financial problems. They can help people solve those problems. And maybe you've got a retirement account, or maybe you don't have a retirement account, but you need to increase your retirement income. We can help you do that with what we do. All you have to do is become a part of the co-op, and we will help you raise the money that you need for whatever project that it is. We come to our next webinar. We have webinars daily, Q&A sessions, and we'd be glad to answer your questions. If you need to get a hold of me, feel free to do that, or get back with the person that shared this with you and say, hey, how do I get started? And start to think about, what would you do if you had the money? The list is endless. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's legal, honest, moral, we will help you do it.